go. Story time. So I'm just getting home from a fitness event, and um yeah, I just want to like speak into some things. So some things kind of clicked for me tonight about moves that I'm making and reasons why I no longer would say I identify with religion and why I'm a spiritual person. And people will hear that and they might say like, "Oh man, like that's new age," or like blah blah blah, like that's not a real thing, right? For me that means something, right? Because um if you have, what I'm going to title this video essentially is exclusivity kills love. Exclusivity kills creative expression. This concept of exclusivity like suffocates connection, and it suffocates um your people's ability to like feel included and blah blah. So like, and that may sound super like, oh, what is this like diversity training bullshit? But like, it's shit's real, right? So I just had, um, and like, it's not that I care. So like, my friend got invited to something, and it's like a religious gathering. That's a like weekly gathering of a certain group of people through a church. She asked me to go. So I'm on my way to go do this, and then the she gets there, and I'm like about to pull up, and I guess the people were like, "Whoa, like this person's not a part of our collective or our group, so like they can't pull up." And I don't care. Like now I get to come home and go to bed early tonight, which is actually what I want to do, so I can have a good day tomorrow. But I say all this because it brings out so much in me of when I was previously would say I was like a really religious person, or like in my past life I would I would there's this nature of church and of church culture which I fucking hate. And it's that, and actually it's really funny, like this specific group and church, the same people that behaved this way tonight are is the same experience that I've consistently had with that church, which I have gone to since I've like lived in Colorado. But I say all this because so I moved to Colorado, and one of the things that I did from like a logical standpoint was I found a church, right? And I did that because it's a very like general thing to do, I guess. From where I'm from the South, and like you grow up in church culture, it's a good way to like meet people, blah blah blah. So the church that and I won't name it, but basically my experience going to that church was pretty shitty from the standpoint of I it feels super like it has this like exclusive like high school vibe where it's like certain people have their little circles, and then like everyone worships the pastor, and like there's like it's clicky, like you show up, you can't really like people don't even like talk to you, and like everyone has their own little, it's like high school, it's like who's gonna sit at the lunch table, and it's like for me spirituality is not that. Spirituality is not the pursuit of the divine and something higher. You are actually, I think, held to a higher standard if you claim to be on that path than someone who isn't. So like when I see this shit about like, oh dude, like don't invite this person, or like da, 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 like dude, you like what is this? Like what the what kind of fucking world do we live in? And it's not about the fact that like this like activates a lot in me because I live that like I've even been in groups like that where it's like, yo, dude, should we invite this guy, or like, dude, he's not one of us, and it's like this bullshit, like this bullshit tribal mentality, or this bullshit like I'm better than you, so like you can't be a part of our fucking group. Like, let me ask you something. What is that? Do all you all follow Jesus, right? Jesus is the son. Jesus is everything. Jesus, right? And if you claim to follow Jesus, You're gonna live your life in a way that is it's through something called sanctification. And in Christianity, that is the practice of daily sanctifying yourself to become more like Christ. Right? So would Christ like say to like, he's with his disciples, like let's create some imagery. So he's having a campfire with his disciples and they're talking, they're eating dinner, vibes are good, conversations flowing, and then this guy walks over from the local village and he's like, "Hey, can I join y'all?" What would Jesus say? Like, would he be like, "No, you're not in our little fucking club. Like, go away." I just find it so fucking comical, and it's really only comes from like religious people, um, people who are steeped into Christianity specifically, but it's in deep within church culture. This bullshit exclusivity, and I felt that. I felt the like and I'm super grateful now. I've opened up my window and my scope of people in my life, and I don't really surround myself with anybody like that. So it's amazing. It's a way better existence when the people in your life don't behave that way. And there's not some like bullshit game or expectation that you have that like, hey, is this person one of us? And like, da, 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 da. It's like, dude, man, that's not what love is. Like, fucking pull your head out of your ass. Learn to love people better. Um, it's almost comical to me how hypocritical it is. The hypocrisy of the people claiming to embody what it means to not be hypocritical. The people who claim to be pursuing the thing that is most spiritual and most divine are the people who are the biggest fucking hypocrites in the entire world. Like the biggest fucking yeah, it's literally comical to me. So this thing happening tonight sparked a lot of that in me because I saw it like firsthand of like, man, I went to this specific church for like I would say years on and off, like feeling like an outsider and like feeling like, man, is it me? Like, do I smell? Like, is it like what the fuck's going on? Like, this isn't the churches back home. Like, I grew up in Texas. The churches back home weren't this way. But like, what is up with this like exclusivity, like we're better than you vibe that you're giving off. Like let me tell you, this shit is so fucking repulsive and this shit is so pretentious. And this shit is so like better than thou. It is unfucking believable. So that is what it is. That's off top, something I just came through. So like I'm gonna title this like exclusivity kills love because at the end of the day, if I was any team, any leadership position that I've ever been in, anything I've ever been a part of, I feel like I take an onus on myself. And anyone who knows me in the past, right? Any social or like group that I've been in or blah blah blah, like for me it's super important. You could ask my dad this, ask my like like for me it's super important to include other people. It's super important to say, hey, this guy feels left out, let's get him in here. Or like this person is on the outs, like how do we involve them, how do we get them integrated into what we're doing, right? Because we're not better. And honestly, this is the toxic fucking bullshit that I see, like that ruins society. It ruins um it just ruins things on a cultural level when we allow idiots who don't know how to be leaders lead and they hold things to a standard that are stupid, right? Like what's the entire function of a spiritual religious type group, right? It's to love. For me it's like to love other people. It's to be as loving and to take that love out into the world and to express that and to show that to others, right? Because that's what Christ did, right? So to not live that out and to live this like stupid fucking exclusive Instagram social media fucking life where nobody's even like a real you're not even like a real human anymore. You're just like this like parroting and then even bigger than this, like it just stems down into the people to where everyone's afraid, right? Everyone's afraid to not be an individual. You're just like walking around in fucking fear that like, oh, dude, and like that's the other piece too. It's like you have to be willing to look like an idiot to make change and to do things differently. You have to be willing for things to be awkward. You have to be willing for things to be bigger than yourself. You have to be willing to look like a beginner. You have to be willing to fail. And you have to be willing to do things differently. You have to be willing to challenge the status quo. Only the rebels in this life are able to trailblaze. People who stay within the box, people who follow the rules, like you're not going to get anywhere in life, right? And if you want to make a real lasting change, you want to truly love other people well, learn to break the rules every once in a while. Learn not to follow everything by the book. Learn to not be so fucking exclusive because you're fucking killing your ability to innovate. You're killing your ability to be creative and you're killing your ability to love other people well, which is the exact function of why you do what you do. Peace.